You're live on YouTube.
Sweet.
You're live.
Don't know how to do this. All right. Good morning, guys. As you can see, we're going to be doing this in our living room here. You guys on Facebook, I'm sorry. I know the camera's kind of in a weird spot, and I like to move around a lot, but we'll get it adjusted here in a second. We're going to be doing a couple of things today. I'm going to spend a little bit of time here doing some stretching with our classes starting up this week in the parks and stuff. I want you guys to be able to walk into it knowing how to stretch, knowing what the real goal of stretching and stuff is. But we're also going to do a little bit of line technique type stuff. Today, we do have a few announcements at the end of class. They're not all happy announcements, I'm afraid. So just as a fair warning, at the end of class, I am going to be doing those. If you guys have any questions, texts, or open up the chat, ask your questions. Also, let me know that you guys can hear me just fine. We are part of the reason why we are doing this in our living room is just so we don't have the technical issues that we've been having outside this week. And yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. It's going to be just a little bit noisy if you guys can hear in the background. My parents just got home and stuff, so ignore the noise and let's get started, everybody. Yep. Anjoke. Mukyan. Yes. Sabonenke. Kunye. Taekwondo. Okay. So, Ms. Hanson will be down here in just a minute to fix our camera for Facebook. You guys on YouTube, you guys shouldn't be having any issues. But as I said before, just make sure you write in, let us know if you're having any problems hearing or seeing or whatever happens. I like to start my own stretching from the floor up. I've always found it a little bit more comfortable, a little bit easier that once my legs and my back and stuff are stretched out, it's easier to move everything else. So I've gotten several questions about, how do you stretch out, get your foot position and all that stuff. Okay, so believe it or not, we are actually going to start there. I did forget to tell you guys what kind of equipment and stuff you're going to need. Really, the only thing you're really going to need is open floor, a good wall, or a good strong door will help. And it will help just because, well, it gives you something, a little bit of resistance for some of the stretches. Okay. So starting with the feet. Okay. Find your wall, find your door, whatever it is that you're going to use. Okay. And all you're going to do is put your foot against it right here.
So on Facebook, we've got Sam Green.
Awesome. Hi. And
we've got Miss Soriano is the only one on YouTube that has told us.
But there's others.
There are.
Yeah, that's all right. Okay. So anyways, back to what we were doing. Mrs. Hanson telling me who was here. Hi guys. Find your wall. Put the ball of your foot and your toes against it, just like you can. Hopefully, you can see what my foot's doing here. You're gonna slide it straight down. Okay. Your goal here is literally to just make those toes go backwards. You're just using the wall for resistance. Okay. If you can get your foot flat across the ground, that works. And you can bend your knee into it. Okay. You don't want to like stick your whole body up against the wall. It doesn't actually help your toes much. You're trying to get that ankle bend. That's what you see here. Okay. And again, this is just to work on getting those toes backwards. Okay. Switch sides. Same thing on the other side. You guys may find, kind of like me, one side is just a little bit more flexible than the other. Injuries and stuff happen if you've broken your toes or you've messed up the balls of your feet or anything like that. This is not always the most comfortable stretch. And if you notice, I cannot bring this knee to the wall on this side. That's okay. You're just, working it out. Eventually, hopefully, you'll be able to. And relax. Okay. So, next, back of the calves, the Achilles, actually. And it's going to look very, 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 very similar. Except this time, you want your foot aimed upwards.
Step backwards a little bit on the bathroom door. Okay.
Sorry, guys. Our doors are not necessarily the strongest here. Okay. So now you're putting the ball of your foot up high on the wall, heel down low, and this is where door handles and stuff come in handy because you can push yourself in. Okay. And you're going to bring your hip, keeping your knee straight, bringing your hip as close to the wall as you possibly can. Okay. You should feel this in your calves and your Achilles and maybe even across the bottom of your foot. That's all good. Okay. Going to hold for about 30 seconds or so. I don't really have a clock, so I'm taking a little bit of a guess. But if you have a clock, 30-second stretches, guys. Okay. And then switch sides. Same thing on the other. Ball the foot up high, heel down low, knee straight, pull in close with your hip. Okay. You notice I'm even using my other leg to push in a little bit. Again, you should feel this in your calf and your Achilles and bottom of your foot. Okay, so for those of you guys who don't know what that is, your Achilles is this straight tendon right here that goes from like the bottom front of your heel here all the way up about halfway up your fibula. Okay, so you got in the bottom of your foot, balls, the feet, that kind of stuff. You got the calves, kneel down. Let's see, can you check the camera, please? I know the YouTube camera is good, but
sorry, we just cut your head off.
Mrs. Hanson doesn't like me. She's trying to cut my head off. You guys all heard it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if you guys look at the way I'm kneeling, okay, my ankles are as flat to the ground as I can get them right now. Okay. I'm up on my knees, and all you're going to do is sit. Okay. Keep your knees together. Keep your feet together as best you can. Okay. If you notice, my feet like to my heels like to go away from each other. Right. And you're just trying to make your ankles as flat to the ground as you can. You guys notice I actually have issues with this one. Again, injuries and stuff. Ooh. The ball of my left foot's liking to cramp up today. Okay, so 2 is very difficult. Like mine is, you can do 1. Okay, just sit back on it. Hold for about 30 seconds.
What about people with bad knees? No.
Believe it or not, if you've got bad knees and this is difficult,
what are we stretching?
The front of the ankles. Okay, this works. Okay, reach behind you, lean on the wall. And all you're going to do is push down on the top of your foot. Okay, and switch sides. Okay, Again, this is if you're standing up or you got bad knees, this is a good way of doing it. Okay, or if you don't have stuff to lean on, okay, you can stand and hold balance while you're doing it. But again, you're just getting this part of your ankle here to stretch out. Okay, this is how you develop that nice, good front kick position. Okay, and for those of you guys who have really messed up balls of your feet, this probably hurts. I can't sit like this for very long, which is why I do my stretch standing up. It does the same thing for the balls of your feet. So, okay. Next, got calves, got the ankles, quads, and hamstrings. Okay. You're going to sit up kneeling just like this again. Okay. One foot out in front of you. Okay. Not off to the side. Not crossing over and twisting up. I don't know why you would do that anyways, but there are stretches for that. Okay. But if you notice, I've got this line. I'll center myself over it. The line goes right between my legs. Okay, my back foot. I'm not letting it cross over. Okay. We want straight back and straight forward. Okay. And you're just going to slide out. Sitting up as straight as you can. Yeah, this is the beginning of like the front splits, right? Okay, believe it or not, if you can do like perfect front splits, you've probably got a really good side kick started also. I'll scoot over so Mrs. Hanson can join.
I'm going to do the bad knee stretch.
Okay. And
like if you can't kneel.
Okay. Yeah, if you can't kneel, what Mrs. Hanson is doing, and you're just going to open up as far as you can, straight forwards and straight back. Okay. You don't want to be leaning to one side or the other. Okay, you want to be sitting up nice and straight in the middle. This is going to be for your psoas, your quads, just above your knee. Okay. You can cheat and use something for support. Okay.
Same thing standing up.
Yep. And switch sides. Okay, again, foot goes straight out behind you, straight out ahead of you. Okay, making sure that your hips are forwards. Okay.
And if you're standing up to get a little bit more of a stretch, you're going to lean backwards a little bit.
Yeah, that's like away from the camera in our case, right? So, all right, as you're doing this, if you can continuously open up little by little, do it. Okay, you can see I've got one side that's a little bit more flexible here than the other. That's okay. All right, go ahead and relax. So, there's your quads, right? Okay, and your psoas. Your psoas is that really deep muscle that goes from your spine to the front of your thigh bones, your femurs, right? Okay, not a pretty one to stretch if you're not used to stretching it, but you should be stretching it all the time if you're a martial artist. Okay, now stretching hamstrings. Okay, that's this muscle that goes from your rear end, your butt cheek, down to the back of your knee. Okay, if you have a lot of issues there, start off stretching the way I am right now. Okay, so again,
what are we stretching?
Hamstrings. Okay, if this is a good place, to start because you can control it and you don't have to like super stretch far, right? Okay, so you're on one knee. Okay, again, foot preferably directly behind you, not crossing over or anything. Foot out in front of you. Okay, and just sit down a little bit.
Okay, again, people with bad knees are going to do something very similar. You're going to stay standing up, take that heel out, and lean into it.
If you notice, she's really in the same position, okay? Here, all right? If you've got some pretty flexible hamstrings, believe it or not, doing this and grabbing your foot, it'll help that, it'll stretch out the hamstring also, but it's a little bit lighter of a stretch, like this, okay? And you're just gonna sit back, okay? Your real goal here is not necessarily to cross over, so you're not bringing your belly button to your knee or anything. You're actually bringing your shoulder straight down on it, okay? The matching shoulder.
And you can kind of see standing up, I'm taking the same motion, standing up.
Okay, and switch sides.
Okay, because I'm still not doing that one legged knee thing.
This thing, okay? Again, I like this because it's a little easier to control. And again, you're just bringing your shoulder on the matching side, straight down on top of your knee. If you guys notice, I haven't even gotten into, like groin stretching or anything just yet. We're working on all the muscles that are still below it and around it. Good, relax. Like I said, guys, I'm taking a good estimate of 30 seconds, what kind of happens in my head here, okay? But when you're really stretching and you're trying to build up that flexibility, bare minimum 30-second stretches. And then you go further and further and further, but we'll talk about that in a minute, okay? So, that's the quads, the front of the quads here, okay? That's the hamstring in the back. Believe it or not, excuse me, you still have muscles on the outside and the inside, okay? I like to go to the outside first. Don't ask me why. I have no real good reasoning for it, okay? But since we're on the ground, we might as well take it. You're going to sit up on your heels, okay? And all you're going to do is sit back and push out, okay? So you should be feeling this on this outside hip flexor here, okay? Notice that I'm not quite sitting down, okay? Because if I sit down and do it, it changes it a little too much for me. So I like to be up high and push that hip out, okay? Almost like you're doing like a puppy dog sit or something, you know? And same thing on the other side. Same deal here, and push it out, okay? If you're got those bad knees and doing it kneeling like that is not comfortable, find something that you can use for balance, okay? And all you're going to do is this. Stand about a few inches out and just push your hip towards what you're using for balance. That's how I always did it. Okay? It helps control it. Okay? And then same thing on the other side. And if you notice, I'm kind of crossing my feet up a little bit. When I do this standing, I need a little bit more of that reach to be able to push into it. Okay? But you should be feeling this right here where our black stripes on our pant legs are. Okay? And that's that outside. Those are the muscles, believe it or not, that pull to the outside for crescent kicks and vertical kicks and such. All right. Now, doing the splits is not a mandatory thing in the martial arts. A lot of people think it is. It really isn't. But if you can do them, it really does help. But you don't need to. Okay? So, you can start. Okay? Open up your feet nice and big. A lot of people say, oh, 2 shoulder widths is where you start. Really, the truth is, go where the stretch starts. Okay? Once it started here, you should feel it up in here in the hips a little bit. Down here between your legs a little bit, the groin area. Okay? Legs straight, knees straight. Bend over. Touch the floor between your feet. Not out in front of them. Not out left. You can start behind you if you really like, but I never like to. Okay? You're just bringing your chest as close to the ground as you can when you do this. Okay, getting the top of your head to point at the floor is one way to look at it also. Rear end sticking straight up. Okay. If you've got bad knees, okay, getting something that will stop your ankles, okay. It could be chairs, it could be a couch, it could be another person. Miss Anthony, can I get you to sit in front of me here for a second? Okay. And all she's going to do is put her feet on the inside of my ankles, okay? And I'm going to scoot towards her, okay? This is a good place to start. And sit up straight. No rolling to the back, the top of your butt cheeks and sitting like this. Not a groin stretch. Roll forwards, nice and flat, on the bottom of your butt cheeks, and straighten up your back, okay? Just sit, okay? Believe it or not, I actually really enjoy partner stretching because you get into this little sense of competition. Who can go further? That's me in this case.
He is more flexible.
Okay. All right. If you notice, okay, my legs are not at 90 degrees. They're closer to probably 110 degrees. Okay. After about 20, 30 seconds here, okay, scoot a little closer. Okay. Now, right now, she can kind of feel my feet wanting to pull in. That's good. She's just sitting nice and comfortable. She's just chalking my feet, blocking them, holding them in place. You can do this on a wall if you got a good door. You can, a good strong door. You can take a rope and tie a knot in it. Throw it on the other side of the door with one piece on your side. Close the door and pull on the rope to get you closer, and the wall will do the same job. Okay, and you're just going to sit for 20 or 30 seconds. But again, under this stuff, okay, sitting on the bottom. Okay, once you're here, I just want you to start rotating your body. Okay, a few times in each direction and stop and go the other way. Okay, you're going to make those muscles stretch dynamically a little bit, but without like bouncing on them and tearing them. There is a time and place for that, but not today. Some people will tell you that ballistic stretching is the most dangerous form of stretching. They're right. But if you're going to build up flexibility fast, it does do it, but you have to do it the right way. And I'm not going to teach you how to do it. Yeah, not today. Like I said, there is a time and a place. Okay. So once you've done that for about 30 seconds, guess what? Take a break for a moment. Okay. Now, if you've got bad knees, okay, be super careful if you're using somebody else. Okay. You actually don't want them to use your ankles. You want them to use either right at the knee or just above the knee. That way you're not putting strain on the knee, but you're still stretching out those muscles. Okay. Miss Hanson. Okay, spread. Okay, nope, both legs. There we go. So here, okay, so if you notice, I'm sitting really far away from her. My feet are just above her knees. Okay, you might form it up just so they can see. So there's her knee. So you can see where her scars are from where she had it fixed. I'm sitting above it. If I do this, that puts knee pressure across the knee this way. You don't want that. You want this. Okay, you want to use those femurs. Okay, and then she'll just sit up straight, doing the same exercise. Okay, she's really tight on that side, by the way. Okay, eventually you can get to the point where you can grab each other's belts and pull on each other's belts, and you should be able to ultimately sit chest to chest like this, sitting up perfectly straight, face to face. That takes a lot of work, by the way. I've only seen a few people who can really do that. Okay, and if you notice, she's starting to move, she's starting to flex, and if you've done this right, this will help loosen up your lower back, for those of you who have lower back issues.
And hip issues.
Wouldn't know anything about hip issues. Okay, and relax. So if you have bad knees, I would rather see you do it this way because there's a lot more control involved. Okay, a lot less likely that you're going to hurt yourself or your partner's going to hurt you or whatever you're doing. Okay. All right. Thank you. So we're here on the ground and we're sitting. Hopefully you're sitting somewhat comfortably. Okay. I want you to put the bottoms of your feet together. Pull your heels as close as you can. Grab your toes and just sit up straight. Okay. This is like a direct hip socket stretch. Okay, it sounds kind of weird, but okay. And once you're here, okay, and you want those heels as close to you as you possibly can. I want you to slide your hand back to your heels and just push down on your knees. Okay. Again, good 30 seconds. Can't say it enough. And for those of you guys who are probably going, and we're just stretching, figure out what the problem is. You're not breathing, okay? You should be building up a light sweat. If you're stretching right, sweating is part of stretching. It really is, okay? And relax. Okay, so all I want you to do, put your feet out nice and comfortable in front of you, okay? Putting them directly out in front of you. We'll get there here in just a second. And all I want you to do is try to touch your heels, okay? Make your back straight. Sit on the bottom of your butt cheeks, not the top of them, so you're not rolling backwards, right? And sorry, guys, getting text messages from other students and stuff who are trying to get in contact. And you're just back straight, grabbing your heels. Text messages.
Okay.
Okay. This is your back stretch, your lower back stretch, right? Okay. For those of you guys who, in this case, are much more flexible than I am, and quite frankly, skinnier, putting your chest on the ground, perfectly viable. Okay, let's do it. All right, if that's where that stretch starts or where you can get to, that's what you're looking for. For those of you guys who are trying to curl your back and put your head on the ground, that doesn't count. Your chest on the ground and your forehead at the same time, that's cool. And relax. Sit up. Okay, fold one leg in. And all I want you to do, now we're like really focusing on one side of our back at a time. Grab your foot. If you can't grab your foot, pant leg. Grab it, pull up on it. Not backwards, up. Okay, trying to bring the middle of your chest down on top of your leg now. So you're twisting and pulling. Okay? If you can see it, taking a deep breath in. When I let it out, I pull myself a little bit further. Okay? Switch sides, same thing. Okay? Grab your pant leg, grab your foot. Okay? So you're sitting forward, you're turning your belly button, and then you reach. And you might even feel this again on that outer hip flexor side. That's good, but you should be feeling it in the lower back on that side also.
And on this one, try not to bend at your waist. Try to bend, keep your, what we've been talking about, keep your back straight. Or bend at your waist, not
curl. Yeah. So you're bringing everything forwards all at once, okay? Not, curling up and going, okay? Out all at once. Okay? All right, go ahead and relax. Okay? And that's like the lower part of our body. Okay? If you're getting up and your muscles feel kind of like sore-ish and they feel kind of tight-ish, good. That means we're doing something right, okay? You're pulling on. That's stretching. All right. So you can go ahead and stand up. Most of the rest of what we're going to do is standing up. Okay?
Sorry, Facebook, I'm adjusting the camera again. Keep going, Mr.
Yep, no, I'll give you a second because you're in the way of both cameras right now. So, how's that look?
As long as we're doing upper body, you're good.
Okay.
Do they need to see your feet on base?
Not right now. So, here's what I want you to do. I need you to find a wall, another person. A doorway works really good for this, okay? And you're going to stand sideways to it just like I am to here. You're going to take the hand farthest away without moving your feet, without twisting your feet. You're just going to reach over and grab, okay? You're twisting your shoulders, twisting your back, okay? If you take a little bit of a step forwards and you actually twist and reach behind you, okay, that's actually a good stretch also. It's just a deeper form of this stretch. Okay, again, turn your head the direction you're going, you'll get a little bit more twist. And relax. Okay, turn around. That's not going to work. All right, so I'm going to come back here. Sorry, my back is towards you guys. Okay, you're doing the same thing. Okay, you're sideways to the wall, reach over and stretch. I want you guys to look where my eyes are. They're actually on you guys. I'm turning my head with it and just standing. Okay, you can reach across, get a little more torque on it, a little more twist, a little bit higher if you're flat with your shoulders rather than going low. Okay, low will pull you down into it, which is okay too. But and relax. Okay. That's like this upper lumbar portion of your back, right? Okay, we haven't gotten to the thoracic. That's where your ribs are in your back, all right? However, we got to come to the front, okay? As you're going up, you don't want to do all the back side and then all the front side. You want to go front, back, left, right, that kind of thing, okay? What we call core stretching. I don't like it. Abdominal stretching, okay? Much easier than people think. Fingertips interlocked. Palms out. Above your head. Feet parallel to each other. Don't go duck foot or I don't know what the difference is. That way or that way with your toes, okay? Toes forwards. Pinky toes forwards. Locked fingers. Above your head. Stick your gut out. And just lean back. You can do this on the ground. I always liked it better standing up. And
that's
relax.
another good one that'll stretch that psoas muscle that he was talking about on the floor.
Yeah, that's this muscle down here. That's actually part of your core muscles, your abdominal muscles. It really is there. Okay, it's just buried really deep. Okay, you should feel that about up to about here. Okay, and quite frankly, these neck stretches, you can ask Mrs. Hanson. These are the ones I really don't like. Okay, if you've got a good doorway, elbows as high as your shoulders on each side. Okay, stand up nice and straight and just step forward.
So he said, if you couldn't hear him, he said, step forward in the doorway. The other way you can do this, if you don't have a doorway, just find an edge of the wall, and you can do this one hand at a time.
Yep.
Same step forward.
Yep. If you're doing it the way I'm doing it, then you have to do both legs. Okay, because you're actually stretching one more than the other way, depending on the direction you step. Okay. So you go right side and hold as far as you can. You guys notice my shoulders are not flexible this direction. And then you switch. Okay, and relax. So,
really quick, interject. If you change the angle, or if different positions of hands changes where you get the stretch. Yep. And this should be stretching the front of, you should feel this stretch right in the front of your body. The different levels will change where you feel the stretch in that front of the shoulder.
And I will tell you, this is not what my shoulders like. Okay, so Mrs. Hanson, I'm actually going to use her to help me with this next one. Okay, because I want to turn around because I want you guys to really see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, can you do the grab your hands behind your back thing? Okay. This is something I dream of doing one day. Okay. I was able to a long time ago. Haven't been able to do it for a long time. Okay. But being able to grab your hands this way is kind of, sounds weird, but that really is kind of the goal, because that's how far up and down your arms can reach opposite each other and get different muscles and all that kind of cool stuff. Okay. Thank you. Quit showing off. Now,
I don't know if we can do it on the other side.
and
We can't do it on
you should be able to do it on here. Let me help.
No, actually, push that.
Okay. So if you notice, I'm squeezing them together. Okay. This is the stretch we're actually going to work on. I can do it on both sides, one direction, not both directions like that. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my hand in the middle of my back. My elbow I'm bringing behind my head, not bringing my head in front of my elbow. Elbow behind my head. And I'm pushing down on my elbow, okay? The other way you can do this with help, Miss Stanton, grab my wrist, please. Okay? And I'm just going to have her pull down, straight down on it. Okay? And for those of you guys, Mr. Green, I know you're one of these guys. Okay, who have like super flexible shoulders and stuff, no showing off. Okay? And I'm going to have her do the same thing on the other side.
If you're doing this with a partner, make sure you communicate to your partner when to stop pulling. Okay? This is a good way to hurt somebody's shoulders if you pull too much.
Too fast.
Or the wrong way.
Yeah.
So make sure you're if you're doing this with a partner, make sure you're communicating with your partner how far to pull down and when to stop and when to let go.
Okay. And make sure you're listening if you're doing this with a partner. Okay. If you're the one stretching out your partner, make sure you're listening. Don't go too long. Okay. That can actually do a lot of damage to what's called your rotator cuff. It's a whole bunch of muscles that actually pass through your shoulder. Don't need to mess
Keep
those
your
up.
shoulder in place.
Right. Okay. So now that's, believe it or not, that's not the front part of your shoulders. That's the back part of your shoulders. Okay. And the very upper portion. Now you're just going to reach straight across and pull your elbow in. You're actually trying to make the inside. Can you point at the inside of my elbow, please? That's the outside. The inside of your elbow where Miss Stanton is touching. I want it to touch my other shoulder. Mine is not doing that. Hers is. Okay. And if you notice, I'm not grabbing my shoulder up there. I'm at my elbow joint. I'm just above it, pulling it in.
It is actually the same principle that you're talking about with the knees.
Right.
If I push out here, I'm not getting as much of a stretch because I'm too low on the joint. So I either want to be on the joint or just above the joint to get the best stretch.
Okay. And you also don't let this happen. You don't need to be bending your elbow. You're trying to stretch, right? Other side.
Well, because if you bend this, then you're not actually stretching part of that muscle that you want to stretch.
Right.
So you want to put it in the position, extended position to get that stretch.
And relax. Okay. So to stretch your forearms, you actually stretch your wrists out. Okay. A lot of people don't know this, but all this muscle that's here, starting right here, becomes tendon. Okay, that's the part of your muscle that attaches to the bone, that makes your bones move, right? Okay. To stretch this, stretch this. Okay. So put your palms together. It has nothing to do with your fingers, but your palms. Okay. This part of your palm touching the other one.
Basically, give yourself a high five.
She comes up with all the stuff. Okay, so I want your thumb on your nose. And I want you to bring both thumbs down the middle of your face, down the middle of your neck, down the middle of your chest, down to your solar plexus, and keep those palms together. No V's. Okay, here. And you're going to push down as hard as you can, as far as you can. And if your backs of your fingers touch your arms, A, that's really gross. Okay, but B, good job. That's actually really kind of what you're looking for. And if you watch Mrs. Hanson, she's able to bring her fingertips back and forth a bit. That's going to stretch out this lower side of your forearms, okay? Now, lift your hands up slightly. Keep your thumbs on your chest. Flip them over. Put your pinkies there and pull up the same way. Again, no V's, no letting your fingertips rotate and point up. Straight down and pull up. You can tell I haven't done this one quite as much as I thought I had. It's actually hurting just a little bit. And hurting just a little bit is okay.
Similar stretches, so if he's going to do that one, if you can't get your hands here or here, works the same way. So fingers down, you're coming here, your fingers pointed down, you're coming here. So we'll stretch those muscles the same way.
Okay, now, this one takes a little bit of creative thinking. I need my two punching knuckles and my wrist to touch the whole time. So I'm here now. Thumbs against my body at my belly button or just below it. Pull those thumbs straight up the middle of your body. Knuckles and wrists touching. Don't lift your elbows. Okay, you're not doing this. You're keeping your elbows low, making those wrists bend as far as you can. Okay?
I know this is an easier class today, but make sure you ask questions, things that we may have missed to stretch, that you want to know how to stretch.
And relax.
So, as always, make sure you're asking questions.
Yep. And there's ways to stretch the obliques. One hand up, reach over to the other side. You're leaning over. This gets into that whole, how do you stretch your hip flexors? This does that too a little bit. The very top of them. And you just go to the other side. Okay, hand up. Take the hand that's down and try to touch your toes without bending your legs. I don't know if that's physiologically possible or not. I bet it is, though. And relax. Okay, so we just spent 45 minutes doing basic stretching. Okay, all of those stretches, you do them constantly, you will gain the flexibility to do what we're going to talk about next. Okay, how do you kick higher? All those stretches that we did on the ground. Okay, you have to do this like a billion times. Okay, so you want to do wall stretches?
I do want to do wall
Mrs. Hanson says she wants to do wall stretches. These are also can be called wall kicks. Why? Because it's just like kicking, except now we're actually going to take it to the next level and go higher.
So I don't really know how to phrase this, but
and still get that. Thumbs.
part of her problem is Miss Matthews is very
hyper flexible. If you are hyper flexible, like Miss Matthews' question is doing the palm stretching like this. Okay, she can actually get the back of her hand to like stretch really far back. Okay, and she can get her fingers to do some really weird things. It's kind of gross, just so you know. Okay, but you do the same thing. You just have to take it to the farthest possible point.
Or if you can do this easily,
bringing them straight back and over.
one-handed and bringing them. And unfortunately, if you're hyper flexible, sometimes you just aren't gonna get a stretch.
Yeah, that is a fact. Okay. If you're naturally hyper flexible, if you've been stretching like crazy and you become hyper flexible over time, you'll still get a stretch. But to be naturally hyper flexible, it's a little bit different. Okay. So,
did that answer your question, Miss Matthews? Just type yes or no. Go ahead.
All right. Mrs. Hanson, come over here.
Yes.
we are going to do quote unquote wall stretching. Okay, lay down on your back, please, and head towards the wall.
You did mention this helps with kick height, right?
Oh yes, this is what's going to make you kick higher. Okay, so nope, head towards the wall, please. So I'm actually going to use the wall as kind of my marker here a little bit. Okay, scoot closer. Okay, you can do this by yourself by either using a rope or some of those stretchy exercising bands.
Let me go behind her.
Like this one right here.
Okay. Hold on, let me go behind you.
All right, Miss Sampson's going to grab hers real quick. Okay. These are actually a lot of fun, I think. People have different, things about what's fun and what's not. Sorry, guys, on Facebook, we keep having to adjust the camera today. Okay. And
sorry, my dog ate mine. So something like this. Also, if you guys have been at Beck, you've seen me use
bands like this one,
like an old
that wrap around,
or like an old white belt.
Yeah, belts work great. Just something that you can pull on that's really going to force you to move. Okay, so she's going to lay on her back. I'm going to help her out today, and we're going to do a little bit of both here. Okay, and I actually want your head really close to a wall because now you know that this is where your top of your head is, right? This is where your foot is. Miss Sampson, pick a leg. I don't care which one. You got to do both. Front kick position. Toes back. Straight ankle. Ball of the foot. Okay? And you notice that I'm using her heel. I'm going to push down on her heel a little bit and go backwards. Okay? So look at the distance here. She has to cover that much distance to be able to kick in front of her face, right? Okay, so now I'm going to move as fast as I can and just snap it. I'm just going to do that. I'm really just kidding, guys. Don't do that. Okay, but I'm going to push it up slowly after about 30 seconds. Okay, notice that I'm listening to her. Okay, and see, she's like getting a nice little stretch here. Her knee is pretty straight. Hey, there we go. Now we got a straight knee, reminding her to keep that straight. Good front kick position. Because to stretch all this out, that's how you're really going to learn to kick high. Okay? And her goal, believe it or not, okay, and notice again about 30 seconds, okay, is to bring her foot all the way up here.
Okay, I'm going to show them.
Okay, I'm going to let her do her bad knee, okay, because, well, I don't want to hurt her, okay? But she has to be able to keep her knee as straight as she can, a good straight ankle with her toes up. Okay, well, up in this case is this direction, right? Okay. And believe it or not, I need to remind her to keep this leg down because you'd be standing on that leg while you're kicking. And I think it's funny because her bad leg is actually more flexible than her good leg. By a lot, by the way. I mean, we're talking a good, 8-9 inches? Okay.
Which was the problem I had before.
It is. Okay. And she's going to hold it at the first place that she feels the stretch for about 30 seconds and then move it as high as she can and be able to hold it for 30 seconds.
And this is how you stretch it by yourself too, by the way.
Yes. Okay. I get the question all the time. How do I kick so high? Okay, like being able to do a reverse hook kick and be able to get as high as Mr. Johnson's chin. Okay, well, this is how. I still actually, believe it or not, spend a lot of time doing this. Okay, stretching just every chance I get. A, it feels good, but B, I get bored really easily, and C, it lets me move.
And as you're stretching, make sure you're breathing. So if you notice, I took a breath in and I took a breath out, and I was able to take it through.
In through the nose, out through the mouth, and relax. Okay, so now comes some of my personal favorite ones. Okay, I did say we were going to do like line technique stuff today. Well, guess what? This is line technique stuff. Okay, if you can't do this, you can't do line techniques. Okay, I'm going to let Mrs. Hanson do this one to me, but I'm going to lay down same place she was. Okay, and head pretty close to the wall. Okay, this time notice that I'm turning my hip down a little bit, like a side kick position. So I want you to kind of get a relative idea of how high I'm kicking right now. I'm actually only kicking about my knee height. Look where my other knee is. It lines up with my foot almost vertically. I know because Mrs. Hanson is there. Okay? And all she's going to do is walk forwards as she raises my foot up. Okay? And I get the nice easy job of just laying here.
So if you look, I am supporting
the knee.
The knee.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
And when you look, he's working on that foot position. That you'll feel, if you pull those toes back, you'll feel it in your hamstrings and your calf.
Bring my leg a little bit backwards. There you go. Now you're lined up with my hip a little more. Okay. So I just let her lift. You can lift. Keep going, keep going. You're not even anywhere near a stretch. This is that fun part for me, guys. Okay. Keep going. Keep going. She's almost to my hip height, which is really easy.
I like this better because if I was doing this standing, his right leg is really tight.
Keep going. Fire. So here is my shoulder height, guys. This is actually about how high I want her to go with my foot. And she's got about 2 more feet. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Okay. You have to resist the want to roll back. Sorry. I had to bring my hip down a little bit. There we go. Keep going. Keep going. Okay. And it's great because this almost is starting to stretch. A little higher, a little higher, a little higher, a little higher. There, a little more. See? A little more. A little more. Oh, hey. Look. I've got a little bit of a stretch starting. Okay. And and I don't need a major stretch today. So I can have her like hold it there. Notice I'm trying to push against her with my knee a little bit just to keep my knee straight. Okay.
But if you look now, I'm not supporting his leg with my hand. I'm supporting it with my leg.
Yep.
So that his knee doesn't do weird things.
And relax. Okay. So
when you're letting your partner's leg down, don't just drop it.
Okay.
But you can do something similar with the band. So we'll flip him over.
Hang on. See, you guys will find probably that every now and then you stop and you go, oh, that's a good stretch right there. That's like one of those spots in my body that starts hurting when I'm doing forms for a long time or line techniques for a long time. Right there. I'm twisting myself. Remember those twists earlier? Okay. Okay. So I'm rolling over, guys. I have to notice that I'm putting kind of the front of my bottom thigh on the ground. Okay, and my legs are kind of crossed up in a V because this is actually your side kick position right here. Okay. So okay. Unfortunately, I'm not as good with these bands as Mrs. Hanson is. Okay. And that's not going the right way. I fall forward. There we go. Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay. Notice my head's pretty close to the wall. It is a little bit. I don't, like I said, guys, I don't do the band thing very often. Okay. Oh, hey. You guys can tell I have no experience really using the bands. I like people and I like objects better, but you get the idea, I think. Okay. So things you can do. So we're just about done here. Ms. Hans, can you adjust the Facebook camera, please? So some of those things you can do. It's going to sound kind of weird, but believe it or not, if you've got a good, strong door, the front door to your house, the back door to your garage, or, you know, really good, sturdy doors, you can get a pulley, okay, and throw a rope through it, hook it on to the top of your door, and wrap the rope around your ankle with a little loop or something, kind of like the band we were using, okay? And use the other rope while you're standing there in the right position and just pull it up, okay? The thing you have to make sure of is that you're standing up as straight as you possibly can the entire time, okay? I've seen those devices, they work really well. If you've got a basketball hoop in your backyard, you could throw it over the basketball hoop, stand underneath it, and do it slowly, because if you do it too fast, then your one leg goes up and it pulls the other one, and now you're hanging upside down like a snare trap in the woods or something, okay? You don't need that. So everything about stretching, take your time, okay? I hope today was helpful. Ask a million questions if you need to. We are going to be starting classes this week in the park. But guys, I'm not making any promises as to what it looks like or when we're doing stuff, okay? So don't get your hopes up too much, okay? As far as thank you. July 4th, no class. Okay, we will not be doing class that day. We are doing every class before that, classes after that, but not July 4th. Okay. Unfortunately, time for a little bit of the bad news. One of Dr. Kramer's instructors, when she was coming up through the ranks, who she actually got her black belt underneath, Grandmaster Paul Tabaka, unfortunately passed away last night. It was due to complications with COVID. So if you get the chance, you know, send the word out. That's actually kind of a loss to the Taekwondo world, in my opinion. Knowing what Dr. Kramer learned from him, knowing what so many people learned from him. Unfortunately, this stuff affects us all. My very first student, Cameron Amercoffey, his grandmother also passed away this morning. So
also complications.
I say also complications with COVID. So if you get the chance, drop a line in with Dr. Kramer, condolences and all that. Again, these are this stuff affects us all. So just make sure you're staying safe. Make sure that you're caring about the people around you. You know, do what you can to help each other. But kind of a sad way of ending class, I know, but just things to keep in mind. It happens. So.
Just on the note of classes in the park, make sure you wait for direct communication from us as far as your rank and when and where, because we don't have any details as far as that goes. So don't.
Until we get a hold of you, don't even worry about it. We will tell you all the information you need. Okay? All right. I think that's pretty much it, guys. Today, Anjo. Mukjam. Good. Right hand. Student note. I shall observe the tenets of Taekwondo. I shall respect my instructors and seniors. I shall never misuse Taekwondo. I will be a champion of freedom and justice. I will help build a more peaceful world. Tenets. Courtesy. integrity, perseverance, self-control, indomitable spirit. Yep. Suavemente, conheço. Come on. See you guys later next week. Peace out.
Come on, Samita.
You know how to end this. I'll get it.